Mansory just did the unthinkable, and Ferrari purists are absolutely losing their minds over it. The Purosangue was already the most controversial car Ferrari has ever built, a four-door SUV from a brand that built its entire legacy on screaming V12 engines and racetrack glory. Enzo Ferrari himself reportedly said something like this would never happen under his name. And yet, here we are. Now, for 2026, Mansory has taken this already divisive machine and pushed it into territory that's making even seasoned automotive journalists do a double take. But before we get into the wild details, here's what you need to know. Buried inside this build is one modification so unexpected, so genuinely clever, that even people who despise everything Mansory typically stands for are calling it the smartest move the tuning house has ever made. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this build is splitting opinions right down the middle. Let's set the stage. The Ferrari Purosangue was already breaking records before Mansory ever touched it. Waiting lists stretched for years. Critics screamed betrayal, while buyers lined up anyway, proving once again that Ferrari can do almost anything and still have people fighting to hand over their money. It's a car built around Ferrari's iconic naturally aspirated V12, an engine that, in stock form, already produces well over 700 horsepower, an absolute masterpiece in an era where most manufacturers have abandoned big engines entirely. So the question everyone's been asking is simple. What happens when Mansory, the German tuning house famous for pushing already extreme cars even further, gets their hands on Ferrari's most polarizing creation? Visually, this 2026 build doesn't ease into anything. Mansory's signature wide-body kit completely reshapes the Purosangue's silhouette. We're talking aggressive front splitters wrapped in exposed carbon fiber weave, dramatically enlarged air intakes, and flared wheel arches that make the entire stance look like it's coiled and ready to pounce. The factory grille gets reworked with sharper, more angular detailing, giving the front fascia an even more predatory look than Ferrari's original design. And trust me, that original design was already intimidating enough. Now here's where it gets genuinely interesting. Mansory typically doesn't stop at visuals, and reports suggest this build follows that same philosophy. The Purosangue's V12 reportedly receives performance enhancements that push output even higher than its already staggering factory numbers. We're talking about a four-door vehicle that could realistically outrun dedicated sports cars in a straight line, all while comfortably seating 4 adults in pure luxury. Let that sink in for a second. A practical family vehicle that can humiliate cars costing a fraction of its price on a drag strip. And speaking of things that might change how you look at performance vehicles forever, if builds like this genuinely excite you, now's the perfect time to hit that subscribe button, because we dive into the wildest tuned and modified supercars multiple times a week, often before anyone else covers them. Also, smash that like button too. It seriously helps this channel reach more people who'd love content exactly like this. Now, back to the build, because the wheels alone deserve their own conversation. Massive, oversized, multi-spoke designs finished in deep gloss black create a stark contrast against the body, and combined with a dramatically lowered stance, the entire car sits noticeably more aggressive than the factory version. It practically hugs the road, completely transforming its road presence from luxury SUV to something that looks ready to be unleashed at any moment. Step inside and Mansory's signature treatment continues. Premium leather upholstery, custom stitching patterns, and branded accents throughout the cabin. Constant reminders that this is no longer a standard Purosangue. But here's that detail I promised you at the very beginning, the one even Mansory's harshest critics are calling genius. Despite all this extreme power, extreme styling, and an extreme stance, reports suggest Mansory focused heavily on one specific area that's almost always completely ignored in builds like this. An area that, when executed properly, can completely transform how a car actually feels to live with every single day, not just how it looks in photos or performs in a straight line. So what exactly is it? Is this a complete suspension overhaul designed to make a car this extreme genuinely comfortable for daily driving? Or is it something even more unexpected? Something that directly addresses one of the Purosangue's most criticized factory flaws? The kind of flaw that's followed this car since its original release. Whatever it is, it's apparently significant enough that even die-hard Ferrari traditionalists, people who normally dismiss Mansory builds entirely, are admitting this might be the one modification that actually makes sense. Stick around, because we're about to break down exactly what that modification is, why it matters so much, and why this 2026 build might be remembered as the moment Mansory finally got something completely right.